Can an entire map be hidden from players? The mysterious island on the edge of the Drain the Lake world has been a topic of speculation. But to understand it, we have to start at the beginning. What lies beyond the lake's boundaries, and why can't we explore it? The lake in Drain the Lake is the central hub of the game, with players constantly trying to drain it to get the best loot. However, there's a peculiar island on the edge of the map that seems abandoned and inaccessible. Players have tried to reach it by swimming or using glitches, but to no avail. The island appears to be a part of the game's world, with its own unique terrain and foliage. Some players have reported seeing strange structures on the island, but they're unable to get a closer look. The game's creators have never mentioned the island in any updates or patches, which has led to speculation about its purpose. One player, who wished to remain anonymous, claimed to have found a hidden path on the island that leads to a small cave. However, they were unable to explore the cave further due to a mysterious force field blocking the entrance. The force field seems to be triggered by an unknown mechanism, and players are unsure what could be causing it. As we dig deeper, it becomes clear that the island is more than just a simple oversight. The game's code contains references to the island, and some players have even found hidden assets related to it. It seems that the island was intended to be part of the game at some point, but it was never fully implemented. This raises more questions than answers, and we're left wondering what the developers had planned for the island. The mystery of the island is only the beginning, and it's clear that there's more to the story than what meets the eye. As we continue our investigation, we'll uncover more secrets and try to piece together the truth about the abandoned island. What secrets are hidden within the game's code and assets? As we dug deeper into the abandoned island mystery, we cracked open the game's code and assets, revealing a treasure trove of information about the game's world, mechanics, and even cut content. A seasoned game modder uncovered a hidden folder buried deep within the files, containing 3D models, textures, and sound effects specifically designed for the island. But here's the kicker: these assets were never fully implemented, and some were downright corrupted. This raises a plethora of questions: what led the developers to abandon the island, and what could have caused the corruption? Further investigation exposed a web of corruption that extended far beyond the island's assets, with similar glitches and bugs infesting other parts of the game's code. Players have reported encountering bizarre glitches, from characters clipping through walls to sound effects playing in reverse. As we combed through the code, a pattern of inconsistencies and anomalies began to emerge, hinting that the game's development was marred by issues. The abandoned island, it seems, is just the tip of the iceberg. The more we uncovered, the more questions we had: what other secrets lay hidden in the code, and would we ever uncover the truth about the island and the game's turbulent development? With each new discovery, the plot thickened, and we were left with a haunting question: what other mysteries lay dormant, waiting to be unearthed? And then, just as we thought we were getting close to the truth, the game's code threw us another curveball, leaving us with a chilling message: Echo 12 initiated. Island reset imminent. What did the developers intend to do with the island, and why did they abandon it? As we investigate the abandoned island and the game's code, we start to wonder about the developers' intentions. What did they plan to do with the island, and why did they abandon it? The game's community has been speculating about the island for years, with some players believing that it was intended to be a secret area with exclusive loot. Others believe that it was meant to be a part of the game's story, with the island holding a crucial secret about the game's world. However, the truth is more complicated. According to an anonymous source, the developers did intend to use the island as a part of the game's story, but they encountered significant technical issues. The island was meant to be a hub for a new game mode, but the developers were unable to overcome the technical challenges. The game mode was meant to be a cooperative mode, where players would work together to uncover the secrets of the island. However, the mode was never fully implemented, and the island was left abandoned. The source also revealed that the developers were under significant pressure to release the game, and they had to cut corners to meet the deadline. The abandoned island is just one of the many features that were cut from the game. As we learn more about the developers' intentions, we start to understand the scope of the game's development issues. The game's community has been wondering about the island for years, and now we finally have some answers. However, the truth is more nuanced than we expected, and it raises more questions about the game's development and the consequences of rushing a game to market. The abandoned island is just one part of a larger story, and we're left wondering what other secrets the game holds. How has the community responded to the abandoned island, and what do they think about the game's development issues? The Roblox community is fed up with the abandoned island mystery, and the debate is raging like a wildfire. For years, players have been scratching their heads, trying to figure out what this island is all about. Is it a glitch, a teaser, or just a lazy design choice? But as our investigation uncovered a trail of development disasters, the conversation shifted from curiosity to outrage. The island has become a symbol of the game's hasty development, and players are demanding transparency from the devs. We're talking thousands of comments, posts, and videos calling out the developers for their secrecy. The community is no longer just speculating about the island, they're questioning the entire development process. What else have the devs messed up? What other secrets are they hiding? The community wants answers, and they want them now. As we dug deeper, we found a pattern of neglect and lack of communication from the developers. Players are getting frustrated, feeling like they're being left in the dark. The abandoned island has sparked a firestorm of controversy, and it's clear that the community won't let it die. With the devs still tight-lipped, the community is left wondering, will they finally acknowledge the issues and take action, or will they continue to sweep them under the rug? The clock is ticking, and the community is waiting with bated breath. Will the truth about the abandoned island and the game's development finally be revealed, or will it remain a mystery? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, the community won't back down until they get the answers they deserve. And as we conclude this chapter, we are left with a haunting question: what will happen when the community finally discovers the truth? What are the larger implications of the abandoned island and the game's development issues? As we dug deeper into the abandoned island and the game's development issues, the truth became clear: this wasn't just a minor oversight, it was a symptom of a much larger disease. The game's developers had rushed to meet deadlines, sacrificing quality and leaving a trail of bugs and glitches in their wake. But it wasn't just the game that suffered, the community was also feeling the effects. Frustrated players were speaking out, demanding more transparency and accountability from the developers. The abandoned island had become a rallying cry, a symbol of the game's deeper issues and a call to action for the community. As the conversation grew, it became clear that this wasn't just about one game, it was about the entire gaming industry. Were developers prioritizing profits over people, and what did that mean for the future of gaming? We're seeing a shift in the community's attitude, with players no longer willing to accept subpar games and lazy development. The developers are facing a reckoning, and it's unclear how they'll respond. Will they listen to the community's concerns and work to rebuild trust, or will they continue to ignore the issues and risk losing their player base? The abandoned island has sparked a firestorm, and we're eager to see how the story unfolds. But one thing is certain, the implications are far-reaching, and we're only just starting to understand the scope of the problem. As we continue to investigate, we're left with more questions than answers. What other secrets is the game hiding, and what will happen to the game's community in the future? Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure, the future of Drain the Lake hangs in the balance, and we're on the edge of our seats waiting to see what's next. The abandoned island in Drain the Lake is more than just a small mistake, it's a symptom of a larger problem. The game's development issues are a result of a rushed development cycle, and the consequences are still being felt. The community's response to the abandoned island has sparked a wider conversation about the game's development, and we're now seeing a shift in the community's attitude towards the game and its developers. The abandoned island has become a symbol of the game's development issues, and the community is now demanding more transparency and accountability from the developers. This was not just an oversight, the devs know exactly what they did, and the consequences of their actions will be felt for a long time. And there's no way that's a coincidence, the devs know exactly what they did.